I met a group of 4 complete strangers online and started playing D&D with them. Here's how it's going. Hi, I'm Katie. Welcome back to Nerdic Inspiration, the place where we create, paint, learn, and discuss the nerdiest of things in the coolest of ways. Welcome back. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I started playing D&D with a group of strangers that I met online, and how I'm honestly loving every minute of it. But first, a little prologue. This is going to touch on a couple of the things that I talk about in the video I did about 8 things to think about in your first D&D campaign. Those are things that I experienced in my first D&D campaign and also things that I've learned about my personal playstyle. I love playing games with my buds in real life, but admittedly our first D&D campaign together, our party dynamics were not my favorite. It definitely opened my eyes playing a new campaign with completely different people. It's not a good direct comparison because that was our first campaign together and a lot of them were brand new to D&D altogether. The reason I'm even bringing this up is because it motivated me to do what I did in this video, to branch out and look at testing my playstyle with other people and other campaign styles. I had a couple goals for myself going into this. Experiencing a game with literal strangers. Also, it helped to cure some of the social interaction that I was deeply craving due to COVID-19. 2 was to experiment more with my playstyle, understanding better what I like and what I dislike about certain party dynamics. Lastly, this is a homebrew campaign, and the players are all fairly experienced, so I was looking to challenge myself. Not only do I have to keep up with custom rules that come with a homebrew, but I'm also having to keep up with some seasoned pros. And this is where our story begins. A few months back, I saw a post from a DM looking for 4 willing players to play in his homebrew campaign. I had this feeling of, what do you have to lose? Maybe my life, because, strangers. I'll be honest though, in that excitement there were also mixed feelings of fear. Not just the fear that comes with playing with complete strangers, but also the fear that maybe these people wouldn't like me, maybe I wouldn't mesh well, maybe even the DM would turn me down and just be like, no, I don't want you in my campaign. The DM actually had a formal application to fill out in his post that you had to then direct message to him. There's something about this that made it feel that much more legitimate. I don't know what it is. It just made me feel better about it. He wanted to create a well-rounded dynamic party of people similar in age, people that had similar interests and goals, and people that played the game for a similar reason so that we would all have a good time. Well, it didn't take long and he direct messaged me and he sent me a link to a Discord server. My bar was set pretty low. Right when I joined, he had already posted a little blurb about himself. Other players had already started joining the group, reading each other's bios, and posting their own. Just this small act alone was exceeding my expectations for what I was going to experience. People were engaging in conversation over Discord in a normal and sociable manner. People were getting along and were chatting. I had set the bar to that standard that no one would be communicating in Discord, be a little bit awkward, and everybody would be shy at first. That was kind of the vibe I was thinking I was gonna go into. I was like, completely off guard. Then this next part is really gonna throw you a curveball. It was so easy to set up a date and time to do this. Here's the times that I'm available and here's the days of the week. Within a single message, everybody was like, yep, that works. That's our date and time every week that we meet, and we haven't had issues with it. So everybody was acquainted in Discord. We had our party together, 4 people plus the DM. We did a session 0 where the GM basically told us about the world, told us a little bit about the culture and the people that would inhabit it. And then he gave us a breakdown of his house rules, things that he doesn't want people to get into or bring up, and drama, things like that. We also did a little bit of character sharing, which was really nice and refreshing. It seemed like everybody had most of their character figured out by the time we got to session 0. The GM even stated to us that we had some crossover. He had met with people before session 0 to create some sense of bonds and secrecy and different things that are going to be happening during the game that are not just the quest or even the side quests, a little bit of how you engage with one another and how you engage with the NPCs in the world. So when session 0 was done, everybody had their rules, everybody had the world figured out, and we had a Roll20 set up. Now we were just kind of fine-tuning the characters and then waiting for session 1 to come. At the time of making this video, we have done 6 sessions together, all of which have been fun, challenging, and memorable. I don't want to jinx this or speak too soon because we are still playing. So far, it is freaking great. So, because the campaign is still in progress, I'm going to give you a few takeaways that I have so far from this experience. The first takeaway is just meeting new friends. Not only did I meet new people, but I feel like I mesh pretty well with them. Basically, depending on how long this campaign goes for, if we end up playing for a couple more months, the rest of the year, I feel like these people could be people that I chat with on a regular basis. Next is gameplay style, starting first with that RP to combat ratio. I've learned a lot about how much talk time that I like in gameplay. There's some really great outlets and opportunity here to unveil backstory and also strategize a little bit more. One player in the group has really opened the door for this and I've really appreciated it, and so it's something that I've learned and I'm starting to do as well. Next thing I'm going to talk about in regards to gameplay is quick combat. I find that people do quick combat because they come prepared with their next turn in mind, they think about the initiative, and they also do something else, and that is if they have a question, they have that question ready and they prompt it right when their turn starts. So depending on the answer that the DM gives them to that question, they can change how they're going to react. The next takeaway is the players choose. So far, we have one NPC that seems like our kind of main quest NPC, and he's given us 2 different quests that actually have taken us into 2 different directions. We also have 1 or 2 other NPCs that kind of mentioned a side quest. DM lets us choose what quest we're going to go on next. He gives us a lot of options, and I really feel like the decisions that we make have a strong impact. So far, the entire adventure has really kept me on my toes, it's had twists and turns, and I really have no damn clue what to expect or where this campaign is going whatsoever. And I freaking love it. Secrecy. Specifically, the secrecy in the characters. We have one player character that has a very peculiar necklace and some ties to a mysterious pirate crew. We also have another character, artistic, noble, comes from a secluded island of high elves. She also makes really awkward choices that are borderline serial killer-like. She has a lot of mystery to her. I really haven't figured her out yet. The third character in the party is the one that I actually planned in session 0 with, the fellow Goliath. He's been interesting because he's played kind of a leader in the group so far, and we have some strong tribal bonds together, making us kind of a fun little duo. My character is blunt, strong-willed, and a warrior. However, she's gullible, shy, and quite a bit clumsy. These players have really given us something interesting to dig into when we're not in combat. I feel like our characters are starting to really bond with one another, and it's creating something special, and I can't wait to keep playing with them and getting to know more about these characters and uncovering those secrets. Last, but certainly not least, is strategic timing. I've learned from these experienced players how I can do some mundane tasks a bit more strategically. Some people in the party have creative ways of hunting, searching a room, and even resting that I just never thought of to do. They might also ask to do like an insight check or a sleight of hand during an NPC conversation. Now, I'm not really playing a character that is adept at those things and would think to do those things. There were some unique ways and scenarios in which these people were doing this that I thought was really cool, so it's something that I'm going to look at implementing in some of my other campaigns. Well, that is all I have for this video. I'm sure there will be a part 2 as I continue adventuring with this group. So if you're looking to play your first D&D game, or maybe you're an experienced player but you're looking for some new perspectives, muster up the courage and put yourself out there. You might be pleasantly surprised by the people you meet. Also, consider joining my community here. I want to build groups like this where people feel like they can reach out and ask for people to play a game with. If you're interested in being part of a community that embraces raw, authentic, nerdy creativity at its finest, consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the Nerd Guild. We'd love to have you. If you enjoy my content and want to consider supporting the channel, consider checking out my Patreon link in the description below. I've added a few tier options that I hope you'll enjoy. You can also find my Discord and Instagram link in the description below, where I post other content related to creative nerdy things. Thanks for watching.